Welcome into the Nickel City Crew. I am your host, Rob Crippen. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Nickel City Crew. This episode, along with all of our episodes, are presented by Crippen Legacy Entertainment here on Spreaker. We're so glad that you're joining us for some of your Buffalo Bills and NFL content again today. And as always, these are my Bills thoughts said out loud. All right, let's get straight to it. Really excited for this week. It's a special week for me, to be honest. Nickel City Crew, you guys already know that I missed the season opener. I must say it 50 times a day in my head, and I had to go for work, and it was important for me and my family. So, in order to take care of my Kings and to make sure that they were okay, I had to take care of business first. I missed it. You guys look great. I already gave you guys your salute. Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew, on how you guys looked on Monday Night Football. It was an amazing game to watch on TV, even though I was doing it in the bar. I'm not going to be in the bar this week. I am headed up to Buff on Friday. I cannot wait. I-77 North, and then just head on up, man, from North Carolina to Virginia, through West Virginia, then pick up in Pittsburgh, right outside of Pittsburgh, and cruise on to Erie, and I'll be in the building. My whole co-host tonight, as always, my man, Adam, DT, Dump Truck Rupsick. Holla at the crew, DT. I will be seeing you in the flesh, my brother, man, on Sunday, man. Hopefully before that we can hook up as well on Friday or Saturday, man. I'm going to be there. What's up, DT? Holla at the crew. It's my homecoming.
Let's go. The homecoming of Rob. Love it. Can't wait. I'm looking forward to this week 5 matchup, and definitely looking forward to reconnect and just get back into our routine as usual. At this point in our Bills fanhood and our Bills tailgating, this is routine. You know, you go in as the players get ready and do their stretches and listen to whatever music and do the walkthroughs. Our routine is just the same, just a little different,
right.
You know, just a little different. So looking forward to that, getting back on the horse with you, getting it rolling. And week 5, AFC opponent. Here we go, Rob.
Oh, man, here we go. I really can't wait, to be honest, because I've had a different feel this entire week, just knowing that I'm going to be able to get back into that routine that you're talking about. I was texting one of my boys earlier this week, and he was like, well, you can come over to my lot and check us out at our party. He's like, what time? I'll be there by 10. I know you get there kind of early. I said, brother, I'll be there by 7 a.m. Before the sun is barely up and barely even roasting the ground, I will be out there. And I can't wait, man. There's no place I'd rather be. I talked about it last week on the other episode about how, Marv Levy, and before the home opener, it was so wonderful to watch how you guys just showed up and showed out. So I can't wait to be right in my official section 104. I am the mayor. My boy Josh Kluel, who was on the Fam Appreciation Week episode, he's right there. He's the executive chairman right over my right shoulder. So I can't wait to go bang on that aluminum seat in front of me on third down. And we'll get into who will be facing for this game on Sunday. But before we address that, let's talk about the injuries, DT. This is something that's serious in respects to the fact that, the Bills preach next man up, and most NFL teams will do that. And obviously we understand that moniker is important. It's getting ready to be tested, man. I'm looking at the injury report, and it's extensive. I know that obviously all these guys are not going to be out or anything like that, and they've got to give those designations. But DT, this is an extensive list of guys that are out or are banged up or whatever the case may be. It said 9 players didn't practice today, from Benford to Kumaro, Crowder with an ankle. Poyer popped up on the list, and I didn't even notice that with a rib injury. Tremaine Edmonds popped up on the list today with a hamstring. Sean McDermott, they said, did not disclose what was going on with Dawson Knox, Von Miller, Daquan Jones, your boy, and Roger Saffold, all had Veterans Days. So it's an extensive list of some new names on there, DT, that I don't know. I mean, it's Wednesday, so it's still early enough, but there's a lot of guys that are kind of banged up, man.
A continuous growth of this list, as we were talking about a few weeks ago on the episodes of, we were so felt so this is new to us, right? This is new to us. These injuries are new. And having this many on the team, and it kind of struck everybody blindside in the first couple weeks of this season, as it was like, man, all these people hurt, and definitely an overreaction to that. And then it's
Mhm.
also an overreaction to dealing with this now, because we aren't used to this many names, and then you see them on the list and you just expect the next week that they all go away, but those
Mhm.
guys are still coming back and banged up, and then you got new guys getting banged up too, so
Mhm.
that's the league, that's the NFL, and you see it growing, and you never want to see any names on the list, especially some of the names that are on there right now. And as Poyer kind of sticks out to me in this one, of kind of
Mhm.
battled back, got in, had an amazing game, won us
Amazing
the
game.
game on
AFC play
Sunday,
defensive player of the
and
week
then
of the
yep,
week
yep,
last
and
week.
then
Mhm.
comes in with not even the foot that he was battling. It's the ribs. So that's and then you got Edmonds on there with hamstring, another soft tissue injury. You see how long it's taken Jordan Phillips to kind of come back from that. A couple of weeks, he hasn't even practiced. He did limited today, but
Yeah, it was,
this
Phillips.
list is growing, and it's definitely something new for us to see in the last couple of years as Bills fans, and something new for us to know how to react with this list. I know a lot of my friends are, I get a little upset. They get a little, not overreacting, because it's real, it's happening. These people are hurt, but it's like, oh, we got so many injuries. What are we gonna do? But next man up, NFL.
Next man up, NFL. On the plus side for the Bills, and you're speaking about through the walkthrough with limited. Ed Oliver came back to practice on a limited basis today, along with Zeke was kind of out there a little bit. He wasn't practicing, but they said that he was out there. Sal Capaccio on GR earlier today said that he was out there and kind of walking around with his guys or whatever the case may be. So that's a good sign that he's not in a dark room, so to speak. So listen, concussions are different. Everybody's going to handle them differently. Bobby Hart handles his differently, than Zeke's going to handle his, and the same way from Tua. So we'll see if
Yeah.
Zeke can get back
And
out there.
last week put everybody on blast, and that's going to be in the back of all these trainers' minds as well. Like, putting this, even if he clears all the protocols, like, it's still a little hesitation. Do we get him back out on the field? And because this can happen, and the tides can shift clearly. But safety number one in that regard. But good to see the positivity in that specific situation.
Right.
With Zeke, at least
Being,
being
yeah,
chipper and
being out
out
on the
there
field.
tweeting and Instagramming that he's all
Yeah.
good. Let's roll. So,
Yeah, let's
but
roll.
yeah, that's another factor of, if that doesn't happen to Tua Thursday, and we don't even think twice, he clears for concussion protocol. Isaiah
Mhm.
McKenzie's in, no problem. Now
No
he
problem.
clears concussion protocol, and it's a little, what do we do here?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because everybody has to be on heightened sense of security now at this point in time in respects to the seriousness of concussions and how the league's going to view it, and how really us as fans consume it and react to it. And obviously, what happened to Tua again, we've already spoken about it, that it was just horrible to see him put in that situation by the Dolphins. So listen, as we bounce around, Tavon Austin said, "Enough is enough with this shit. Like, y'all not gonna give me a jersey? I'm out." And like, I was a little bit surprised today to see that, DT. We're all we can do is kind of infer that it was because of the fact that with some of the guys, Kumaro out, and Zeke with the concussion, and some other guys that have been banged up. Gabe Davis still kind of hobbled with that ankle. I'm assuming that Tavon Austin and then maybe his agent wanted him to have an opportunity to grab a jersey this week, and maybe that was the case, that he wasn't going to get a jersey, or he was told that. I don't know why he would leave without that kind of confirmation, and I don't know. That was just a little bit interesting to me. They were talking about on GR, and I was very interested in the conversation because I liked him. I know he's based on the pecking order, he's probably like third in the slot behind even Shakir and Crowder and obviously Zeke, so he might be even fourth on the pecking order coming right off the practice squad. But if he didn't get a jersey, he might have got upset about it, and he left town.
And the story kind of played itself out all the way through. Coming in, this year in the offseason, probably wasn't promised anything. Nobody is on this team, but you know what I
Right,
mean? Probably wasn't promised
right.
a premier
A
role,
roster
had to
spot.
earn it.
Mhm.
Definitely be a vet, in the room. We'll get you on the, whatever we got to do. If there's injuries, we got you. And then the injuries happen, and it kind of seems like they were still saying, sorry, but
Yeah, yeah,
you're not
yeah.
making it. And that
And
that
maybe
was
that
kind
means
of the
Hodgins
turning
is going to
point. Or
play. I don't know, but
yeah, or
that's interesting.
if exactly, because you would have felt like he would have left months ago if that was the case. If he, because it was no secret he
Right,
wasn't going to play out of the gate. So it was
right.
banking on some injuries to get in. The injuries happen, and it still seems like he wasn't getting in, even though McDermott in the in the press conferences early in the week
Mhm.
was praising, Tavon Austin, was saying when they were talking about, oh, what are you going to do at depth and receiver? And, how do you get in this running game getting going? And he was
Right.
praising Tavon Austin in practice for bringing speed to the team. And, so you kind of figured that was going to be the case, get him the jersey this week, get in, not necessarily getting a ton of snaps, but
Right.
get in and, prove yourself a little bit. And it didn't seem like that was going to be the case. And so he got
Yeah,
out of
I mean,
town,
I
but
think that that could have been a conversation that like that's like we sometimes we fantasize about these athletes and then we make them fantasy football and they become more like commodities and names and rosters and stuff like that. These are people that is a conversation that I could see an agent having with his client say, hey, listen, man, if they're not going to still give you a chance, we might have another opportunity at this city or in this team or this team. So I can definitely see that as a valid conversation that was maybe had this morning or earlier this week when maybe it was, come to light that he wasn't going to, in fact, get a jersey this Sunday. And yeah, Tavon's taking care of him. You never knock a man for taking care of himself and his family. And he bounced, man. So he's gone.
yeah. So
uh,
then that next question is then who's coming up? Somebody's got to come up, right?
right. Yeah. Next man up. I
Jamison
mean,
Crowder isn't
right.
coming back, maybe this year at all.
Right.
Isaiah McKenzie, who knows when he gets back? So somebody's got to come up, and that's the question. It's got to be between Hodgins and Gentry,
Hodgins.
right?
Yeah, Hodgins, I would assume, because Kumaro was still kind of banged up. That we've got, like I said, Gabe Davis is still battling his bum ankle that he's trying to recover from. So literally, it's a game of numbers. And yes, I would assume that Hodgins will get his first NFL start. I think that would be his first NFL jersey. I don't know. Did he play last year? I don't think Hodgins ever
I
got a
don't think so.
jersey. So that
I
would be a
couldn't
big
recall
deal.
if he did. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a big deal. And then also, again, would make sense why Tavon maybe, took a slight by that because he's got the speed still. He looked fresh in camp. And, all he was looking for was an opportunity. If he didn't happen here in Buffalo, then he cut his losses. So he's out. Another guy that's out that Buffalo knows is a man by the name of Mitchell Trubisky. Pittsburgh, Mike Tomlin make the change last week as we transition, DT. I mean, I don't know really what he was waiting for in respects to what he was, waiting to see from Trubisky because he wasn't giving him anything over these first three games and into that fourth game. But Tomlin pulls the plug. Trubisky is pulled from the game. Kenny Pickett comes in. He does throw 10 of 13. Unfortunately, all three of his incompletions were picked. So I guess he could have gone 100% for completion percentage. That was, listen, he had some rushing touchdowns. A rookie coming into the Ralph. Oh my gosh, I'm salivating. I cannot wait to bang on my seat on third down, DT. I cannot wait to bang on my seat. I will lose my voice surely by halftime. What is Kenny Pickett in for, man? I mean, I don't know if this was the best week to do this, Mike. And I never question Mike T because I love Mike Tomlin, love him. Boy, this is a pressure cooker to put this young man in.
Well, you say, what's he in for? And he's in for it. You and me. At least he's in for you and me. We got
Yeah,
two of the
yeah.
70,000
And,
that
and
have
70,000
vowed.
other friends. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Two, at least two of us has vowed to that he's in for it. So I think we're
Yeah.
gonna have a few more followers as we get closer. But
Yeah.
this is I think Trubisky goes in as the bridge guy. That was never a secret. Goes in
Right.
as the bridge guy. Try to get a respectable season together, maybe sneak into the playoffs with Trubisky at the realm,
Just wasn't
work Kenny
working,
Pickett
man.
in the future, and it goes
It
TJ
wasn't
Watt.
working. It
TJ
wasn't.
Watt goes
Yeah.
out, and
Mhm.
that team immediately turns from a Mitch Trubisky 10-6 maybe team or 10-7 maybe team to a they're not going to make the playoffs. From what we've seen since TJ Watt's been out, and so I think it was just a matter of time, obviously, until Tomlin put Pickett in anyway. But this was just a situation where as soon as TJ Watt went out, Kenny Pickett should have went right in there. Let's see what we get with this guy. Let's see what we can do with this guy. Develop him as quick as possible to be the next franchise quarterback here. But last week, yeah, he came in and popped around, and he's going to be in for it Sunday. Even with this beat up defense, with the crowd noise, this defense has been stout. But we can't overlook this guy. He's nimble. He can sling it a little bit. He's got some good completions. He had two rushing
Two rushing
touchdowns
touchdowns. Yeah.
last week.
He likes to get on the edge.
So and in a way of yes, he might be nervous and make some mistakes, but there's also what does he have to lose? He can
Yeah.
go out there and do what he's got to do and sling it around in a way of almost that carefree, careless play. Because
Yeah.
if he has a bad game, that's what everyone expects. So he
Right.
goes out there and plays somewhat decent. He played great, So
Right.
that's, I think, something you can't overlook as well. Just kind of the what does he have to lose type mentality about him.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Mike Tomlin, that stat about him never having a below 500 season is important in respects to the respect, but I don't think that Tomlin will sacrifice in respects to the fact of his growth, Pickett's growth, by yanking him and doing kind of what, Brian Flores did down there in Miami one year when he was pulling Tua, and then it's Fitz, and then it's Tua, and then it's Fitz. And, I don't think he'll do that. I think that he made this change to kind of ride this thing out. They did draft this young man. He is a Pittsburgh product. I know that that doesn't mean anything, but it means something to that community. As I drive through Pittsburgh, I know that they've got a ton of pride in that community. So listen, they're probably going to ride it out with Kenny Pickett, and the fans need to understand that over there in Pittsburgh and Steeltown. And yeah, I think that you're absolutely right. I don't think it's going to be a yo-yo situation where Trubisky's coming back in and this and that, unless it's just god awful. But last week, yeah, he was on the edges. He had a couple rushing touchdowns. Tomlin said that he was looking for a spark. I know that rubbed Trubisky the wrong way, but once it became official, this is his team right now. So I can't wait. Rookie quarterbacks normally don't do well against McDermott. I know he's going to have a scheme ready to go. And our defense is it's literally lights out. It's been lights out, DT. So I'm very
Yeah.
confident about this week.
And again, on the reverse side of that, of maybe some of these more seasoned quarterbacks in the past couple of weeks, even though they're going against a depleted secondary, young secondary, they were staying away from throws that were dangerous. Just because
Mhm,
that's just how they know how to play quarterback.
mhm.
Like, I'm not putting that in. That's a turnover. We can't have turnovers. Kenny Pickett might be out there making those throws, and hopefully doesn't expose anybody. I don't think
Right,
he will, but
right,
that's just another factor of like that carelessness of going in and playing that he might be making some throws that Lamar Jackson said nah to last week. That if Kenny Pickett does it, he could have burned, Kyrie Elam or something like
right.
that. So,
Yeah,
that's another factor of not being pessimist by any means, but just some things you gotta,
keeping it
you gotta
real,
look at
man.
going into
Yeah,
this week. Of,
let's look at everything.
it's a wild card. Who knows? Maybe he's the next Tom Brady. You
You
never
don't
know
know.
what this kid's got. So it'll be exciting to see that. But I'm hoping he doesn't have his first shine of greatness on
Yeah,
Sunday.
on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, Peyton Manning had a horrible rookie season, and a bunch of other quarterbacks have had horrible rookie starts and things like that. So listen, you don't know the future. We can't predict it. But again, I do predict and I hope that the Bills will get a chance to get after this young man, not necessarily with blitzing him, but confusing him with different types of coverages and different looks. One of the things that I took away from that Baltimore game with that second half turnaround was the fact that the defense said that he actually disguised more things in the second half, and that actually confused
Yeah.
Lamar. There was no disguising. Everything was very, right there for him to read in the first half, and he executed. Second half, Leslie Frazier makes an adjustment, and all of a sudden the entire game changes in respects of what the Baltimore Ravens were trying to do on offense. So I expect him to not actually waste any time, not even waste a half of that, and kind of disguise some coverages for Kenny and try to see if we can't confuse the young rookie. And that's one of the best ways to kind of get those guys flustered. The longer they hold on to the ball, as you see, those quarterbacks will suffer. Carson Wentz's career is almost about over, and one of the main reasons that he holds onto the ball way too long, and that's a problem. It's a major problem. Now Joe Burrow has that same problem, and yet he's still able to execute and find ways to get it done. So it's hit or miss. If you're gonna hold on to that ball, you better be nimble on your feet, or you better be putting that ball in the right place, because you're going to take some hits, and they do
and
rack up.
and
They rack up.
everything stacked against number 8 on Sunday. I tell you that. With you
Yeah,
hold on to the ball too long, the crowd's going to be with it, and you got a guy named Von Miller on the other side too that's coming with a vengeance, along with the whole rest of that
yeah. I was
updated
about to say,
Bills
with his
defensive
whole
line, and
crew.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're not
with
going
his
to be
whole
able to
crew.
hold on to it too long. You're not going to be able to hold on too long.
Absolutely. Now, I wanted to get, as we shift, it was something we talked about pre-show, DT, and it was one of your axes to grind, I think it's real interesting to talk about, because it has been a topic, and you're not off on it. Talk to us about the run game conversation and what you've been hearing, and some of the things that have been agitating you about it, and I'll kind of bounce off you, because when you brought it up pre-show, I was like, well, that's a pretty good damn point. Like, he is right. So talk about the run game conversation. What have you been hearing from Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew recently about the Bills run game? Specifically, it's really been all season.
Yeah, Rob, and not just this season. It's been the last 3 years since really 4 since Josh Allen came in, and we went to a pass heavy offense. It's always the back of when there was nothing else to complain about. It was we got to get the run game going. We got to get the run game going. We can't be one dimensional. And for years we as Bills fans we cried we ran too much. And now it's we don't run enough. So I'm sick of this conversation, Rob. I am. I mean, if the last 2 years, or 3 years, you go playoffs, AFC
Mhm.
Championship, deep into the playoffs last year. Do you think a little bit of a better running game wins us any of those games? I don't think so. It comes down, it comes down to throwing in 17. So you get all into the run game, but we've gone deep into the playoffs without it. So that it's not what it takes to get deep,
Mhm.
and that's not what it takes. And I just think there's some other things they can focus on. I get it's the one thing to pick about when there's not a lot to pick about, but I'm sick of talking about it. I don't think this run game is. But I think subconsciously people are
I
sitting
was
here,
gonna ask.
bitching about this run game because they know the run game is 17 and Josh Allen, and nobody wants 17 to get hurt.
Right.
So in
I
a
was
way, it's like we need the run game to be better, so 17 doesn't have to run as much,
right.
But it is what it is.
I was gonna ask that is are we subconsciously scared of Josh Allen getting hurt? And you'll hear this conversation debated back and forth. And you guys know at Nickel City Crew, I'm a big WGR listener. I'm always plugging them, and I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm a Bills fan. These are literally my Bills thoughts said out loud. I listen to the show and I love listening to their content because I'm a fanatic. I hear it all the time, both ways. I'll hear callers call in and they'll say, Josh, stop him from running because he's going to get hurt. Then I'll hear it the other way that says, actually, the most injuries to quarterbacks come when they're in the pocket, which is statistical. Now, it might sound crazy, Nickel City Crew. I know that it did sound crazy to me. I looked it up as well. It is true. Most injuries are from in the pocket. Running quarterbacks do not get hurt more than quarterbacks that are in the pocket when they're actually getting hit and then becoming injured. I know that sounds weird, but it's just the way that it is. Now that's sliding, that's getting out of bounds, that's the referees helping protect those guys on late hits, different things like that. But listen, Josh Allen is a dog, and we already know that he's a dog. He's not running design runs, DT, and I think that that's one of the main things that people
They used to do a
right.
lot more,
They
and
used to do a
I
lot more,
haven't
but they're
seen one.
not running
Mhm.
this year. They have not been running a lot of design runs. When he has
Yeah,
been running,
they
it's
won't
been
even QB
scramble.
sneak. They won't even QB sneak, Rob. I mean,
Right.
they have avoided the QB sneak at all costs this
So
year.
I think that this is a little bit of a manufactured fear that we have, basically, Bills Mafia. What I'm trying to say to that is that he's running because of necessity. He is not running because Dable, or in this case now Dorsey, is calling a run. If you are putting him in harm's way, and that's one of the things that drove everybody crazy week one. He's running the ball 38-10 against the Rams. And we're like, Josh, please stop. Please chill out, because those are situations where you don't need to do that because the game is obviously well in hand. If the game is not in hand, please do not expect 17 to back off of running. I just don't see it. They are not calling design runs. He's running out of necessity, whether it be line breakdown, whether it be coverage is so good that he doesn't have the amount of time because his line can't block forever. He's going to run, man, when he sees it and when he feels it. He's got such a great feel for it. I think that we are manufacturing fear. I think we should just chill and kind of let this guy do his thing until maybe he's about, closer to 30. And then at that point, maybe we can have a conversation about literally stopping him from running, or literally giving him an edict from the general manager to the coach on down to just chill out, Josh, because we're trying to preserve your career. Right now, let him be a bucking Bronco. I am sorry.
Yeah, 100%. But on the
Sorry.
other side of that, you got these running backs that are uh, I like Singletary, but I think the running back room itself right now is mediocre. And
Oh,
that's easy
absolutely.
to on a team of all stars and a team of superstars. It's easy to pick out the mediocrity, and that's that comes in the run game. Singletary is hit and miss. Zach Moss, as we talked about, is almost a wasted play as we get in,
Mhm.
into the season. It's a wasted play, and James Cook keeps messing up and he won't give himself, time to get opportunity out there. So right now, we're in week 4 as well. There's a lot of time to get this developed. The run game really wasn't clicking until the end of last year, anyway. As they got
Mhm.
towards the end of the year into the run game. So it's definitely something you need to look at, and something, but it's the only thing we're talking about right now, and I'm
Trent
sick of it, Rob.
Trent Dilfer went off, and like he went. I mean, he wasn't yelling or anything, but he went off on an interview about how Josh Allen can't keep putting on the cape, and how they're getting ready to to make mistakes with him because they're putting too much on his plate. I just don't feel that way when I watch him play. I feel like he's in complete control.
Yeah.
I feel like just because he's doing a lot in respects to obviously distributing the football and then choosing on certain plays to run, I don't think that he has too much on his plate. I am not worried about him running right now. Now, of course, if he gets hurt, knock on wood, we would all be worried about it. But until that happens, I'm really going to have to just kind of trust in him to be smart, get out of bounds, get down, do the different things that quarterbacks do. Lamar Jackson doesn't get hit. He doesn't get smashed when he's running. He literally is either faster than everyone or he gets the hell out of bounds. Josh is very smart of a runner. And then in addition, and then he does have that dog where he's taking on blockers. And I have to live. I want the results. I want those highlights. I want those man cave posters. Then I have to deal with it. Like that's a poster over Bobby Wagner. Who was it? Was it Wagner for week one, right?
The stiff arm?
Yeah, no, not the stiff arm, the actual touchdown where he's stretching out. I think that's Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, it was Bobby Wagner.
That's a beautiful shot. That's a beautiful man cave poster because he's a dog. Most quarterbacks are not going to try to take on a 245-pound linebacker. Ours will, and I love it. I'm sorry.
And I'm not saying this is an ultimatum where it's okay. Would you rather have Josh Allen run for this first down or get hurt? Obviously, obviously, Bills Mafia is going to say, don't run for the first down. We don't want Josh Allen to get hurt. But that first down might be winning you the game. And if Josh Allen gets hurt and is out of the game, you might be losing that game anyway. So it's if he's not taking these chances and getting these crucial runs, maybe they aren't winning these games. And if he gets hurt on one of these runs and they lose games because of it, you're going to lose either way.
Anyway. It's all the same.
Go out Go out and be a dog. And if our run game has to be through 17, I think he's okay with that. I think the offensive coordinator is okay with that, and Ken Dorsey, and obviously Sean McDermott's okay with that because he's watched him run through people for 4 years now. And it's not spastic. It's not spastic Josh anymore. He's a lot more calculated in everything he does, and but he still uses his greatness, and that is part of his greatness is being able to run.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. No, we're not dealing with Sugar High Josh anymore or anything like that. I trust him. I really just don't know any other way really to put it. And I think that that's really the best way to put it is I'm going to trust my quarterback. I'm trusting him to make the right decisions in respects to when he's using his legs. And it is such a valuable weapon that is almost a detriment to the offense if he's not using it instead of, in light of trying to say, in lieu of saying, well, I must not run. Well, you can't, you know what I mean? You can if you have to. We obviously, as you said, we all want to see the run game kind of tick up. I understand that. I mean, the Saquon Barkley talk miss me, really honestly miss me with it because if they're not blocking well and run blocking well right now, the offensive line for Singletary and Moss, then what's the difference? I don't understand why we think that Barkley's going to come in here and cure everything because we trade draft picks away and then all of a sudden we've got this feature back in the backfield. That does not mean that he's going to run through the same holes that weren't there if they're not there. Does that make any sense? Am I off on that, DT? I'm not saying the offensive line is shitty. I'm just saying that they have not been run blocking well. That's what they have not been doing well. So why am I going to try to trade assets for a running back that is all world just because of a name? I don't see the fit.
Yeah. Or put effort into forcing a run that's not there. As we got to run more and put effort. If you got Saquon Barkley, you would have to. You would have to put effort
You'd be forced
to make it there. And if it wasn't there, then you got assets out on somebody that isn't there. And what was it Sunday? Was it 10 rushes for 70 yards Josh had? And
yes.
I mean, as the Bills fans say, they don't want him to get hurt, whatever. But you want to see 17 run those 10 times for 70 yards as opposed to Zach Moss. If he had the same stat line, you want to see that out of 17 more than 20. I mean, that's just any Bills fan is going to say that, believe it or not, that's what it is. So you're right. You're right, Rob. I mean, it is what it is when it comes to that, but it's calculated now. It's a lot more part of the game plan, and it's not the designed runs. It's running out of necessity, and most of the time he's getting down and getting out and, not taking the hits we're worried about.
Yeah, I think it's time for Bills Mafia Nickel City Crew to just trust your quarterback. I mean, channel your inner Terrell Owens and get ready to cry. And that's my quarterback. Yeah. Just love on him, and we all just collectively continue to knock on wood. That's all. We don't want any of the guys to get injured. We didn't want Micah Hyde to get hurt for the entire season when we were getting ready and kicking off Nickel City Crew season 2. Of course not. We want these guys to all stay healthy. It's not a video game, and that's just not how it works. You can't turn off the injury setting in real life. So these guys are at risk. We just have to hope and pray for their health, and health is really important. That's kind of been a theme of this episode because it really is going to be next man up. I don't fear anything about Pittsburgh coming into town, to be honest. DT, it's just been it's just an awful. It's awful. It's a matchup it's always in your face. Like Mike Tomlin is not backing down from shit. Like he doesn't back down from anything, and his team always comes prepared. I know Watt is out. The Bills should not be looking over this game, I don't think. I know fans are a little bit, and we're going to get to that in a moment. But this is a real opponent. They're going to come in ready to play. You already talked about Pickett and how he's going to be able to play loose with confidence in his situation now, just being promoted. I mean, I don't think the Bills should be looking this over. And if we know the Bills that we think that they are right now, DT, I think that it's safe to say that they are not, that they are really good at the one game at a time type approach. And they do have bigger goals of trying to get to the Super Bowl. So they understand they've got to build steps. This is an AFC opponent, like you said, in our house, at home. I don't think they're going to look them over, regardless of what the fans might be doing as they peak towards Kansas City next week.
AFC team with history too, and one of the winningest teams, in NFL history. And last year opener, the Bills weren't a 14. They weren't a 14-point favorite, like they are this week. But man, they were definitely the favorite and expected to go in there and take care of them. And it was a tough game. And even the year before, the COVID year, with the Bills got the win. Taron Johnson pick six in the red jerseys. And that was a tough game. That was like no score in the first half, or they were down in the first half. And the year before, they had to fight out in Pittsburgh to make it into the playoffs. That was a great game, but it came down to the end, and they were favorites in two of the three of those at least. So it's a situation where, this team's going to come to play. There's some aspects. I don't think, they're going to overlook it. Like you said, the culture is different. It's one game at a time. It's all business, no matter who they're playing. But it's not to be scared. They shouldn't be scared about this team, but definitely shouldn't overlook.
Yeah, and that kind of speaks to, what I wanted to talk about with as we wrap up and we begin to wrap up is the fans. It's not the players. I think that they are laser focused over there at One Bills Drive. I think that your players are completely focused, the coaches as well. We have been peeking an eye towards Kansas City next week, Bills Mafia, Nickel City Crew. And I have to pull your card because, again, I've been listening to a lot of the Twitter rhetoric. I've been listening to it on GR. Everybody's worried a little bit about the injuries. And then what they want to do is now hedge to make sure that guys are healthy for next week at Arrowhead. I don't necessarily think that the premise of what they're thinking, their thought process is wrong. But this is like, y'all better strap up on Sunday and win that game, because you want to start. You can't count your chickens before they hatch. Like, you literally have to go win this game. You are at home against an AFC opponent. All of those tiebreakers at the end of the season, and we're looking up the different rules and what is it after head to head. All this shit matters. Like, this is an AFC opponent at home. Do not look over this team. And if you are, as a fan, I'm just warning you. Not warning you because I think the Bills are going to lose. I'm not doing that. But you guys all know that I have to stay on brand. I have to let you guys know that there is a flip side to every coin. Don't look this team over thinking that you can sit guys to get ready for Kansas City to be more fresh, because I think that could be a mistake, man.
And wouldn't this make it more fun, Rob? To not overlook this team, treat them as the Pittsburgh Steelers they deserve to be treated as, coming in a tough AFC game. It's going to be a beautiful fall day on Sunday.
Right.
I can't wait.
Right.
At the stadium with everybody, like, take this game a little seriously to make it a little more competitive, a little more fun, in your tailgate, in your fanship, to know that, if we get this game, we should be happy about this, not just, oh yeah, we should have killed them. No, let's get happy about this. Let's win this game. Let's enjoy this fall day.
Enjoy the ride.
Let's enjoy football. Yeah. And make this a little more fun, not overlooking it. Make this serious to get a little more enjoyment out of it.
Absolutely. Yes. Listen, enjoy these. We have 17 events, and I understand that every Bills fan is ready and waiting for next week and waiting to go back to Arrowhead. I'm going to keep it real. And y'all know that I'm going to keep it real. It doesn't change 13 seconds. It doesn't change what happened. We can go there and beat them just like we did last year, right? Then we beat them in Arrowhead, rainstorm and hour-long delay, and then we came out and continued to whip their ass when we came back out after the delay. And what did it matter? It didn't matter because of the fact that it came down to the playoffs. So again, everybody knows I will go into Kansas City next week. I am not talking about the boogeyman right now. I am not talking about my feelings about the game right now, because we've got Pittsburgh this week, and I'm really, really excited to head up the road, like I said, and watch my Bills in action, man. I want to see my quarterback in action. I want to cheer on my defense, see Von Miller. That is so crazy. It takes me back to that episode last season, DT, that I recorded, because I was just like, what? He chose us? Like, it was just so hot. It shows how far this organization has come. We had to lock every door at One Bills Drive to keep Mario Williams from getting on a plane to go into another interview, and then had to back up a Brinks truck as well before we took him, to dinner, because to make sure that he understood how serious we were. Von Miller chose us. It was a totally different feel, and it felt so good to know that my team and my organization is thought of and highly regarded now. We're some of the best want to come here, man. I love it, man. I can't wait for Sunday. Can't wait.
Yeah, can't wait. And while you're talking, people want to come here. There's some more talk on the Twitter sphere this last couple of days with Mr. Odell. So
Oh
you
no.
never know. Obviously,
What's he been
far
talking?
away
What's
from
what's
being
been
back on
latest,
the
man?
field.
I
But
haven't seen it.
well,
What's
on
been the latest?
Von's podcast this week, on Von's podcast, he was saying, basically just rolled out Odell's plan this week. Like, yeah, he's at Giants camp. Then he's going over to Atlanta, and then he's going to the Saints, like for all visits, for free agent visits. And Odell was like tweeted like, okay, like just laying out my business everywhere, like that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And like just some playful banter back and forth of like, all right, hey, this now with these receiver injuries too, it's looking, it definitely is a lot more of a thought process. But yeah, like you said,
I
Rob,
wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed
it's
to it. I
awesome to
wasn't
kind
opposed
of
to it
have
back
that
then.
feeling, that people want to come here, and have the feeling that you and I want to come there on
Oh
Sunday of
man.
man,
Oh
65. Oh,
man.
I can't wait for this Chris Fall day, baby. It's
Yeah,
don't
man.
overlook the Steelers. Enjoy
No,
this.
enjoy it all, man. DT is giving y'all life advice right now. Bill's life advice. Y'all, now he does need to charge. I didn't charge y'all the other day for my guidance counseling. But yeah, DT can charge for that. That's good Bill's life experience right there, and life lessons right there. Enjoy the game, enjoy your tailgates, enjoy your family and friends as you guys get together. Every game is important, and it really is an event. So I'm going to be enjoying it. I'm not going to be thinking about KC. I understand that the game means a lot to Bills fans next week, but again, it does not change 13 seconds. But it would be nice to obviously get another AFC win, and that's really all I'm focused on. I'm in the moment. I'm going to stay in the moment. I'm in the 2022 season, and my Bills are doing well right now. Our Bills are doing well right now at 3-1, and we got to get this one 4-1. With if only one loss in the conference would be a nice way to start the season. We've only played one out of conference game so far, DT. So that's a nice record to have in the conference to start the season. It's a big opportunity for the Bills to gain up on that one seed and make sure that they're still sitting in the driver's seat. Every team in the AFC, if you don't know, has one loss at least. The Chiefs, excuse me, and the Dolphins and us are all 3-1, leading the conference. And obviously the Dolphins have the head-to-head on us, and we play the Chiefs next week. So this is a big one, man. This is a good game to get, and it's at home. And I feel confident, man. You brought up that opener last year, but I was so pissed. I was so pissed coming up for the home opener when we lost that game, and just a completely different vibe for Sunday.
100%. And you say, that isn't changing 13 seconds, but what does change 13 seconds is going in this year and, getting it done in the playoffs and making the full run. And each week is part of that.
Yeah,
Each
part of
week
that.
is
It
part of
is
that.
another
Jacksonville
Lego
last
block.
year,
Another Lego block.
Steelers last year.
Mm-hmm.
And so Steelers
Mm-hmm.
this year,
Yep.
Kansas City next week is part of that to erase that
Tennis.
13 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah. Get that one seed. Let everybody come to the Ralph and get chilly for an AFC championship game like that. That's what I want. I want somebody to have to go on a plane and come here and get cold, because we'll all be ready for it. We all know what it's like. And after perfection in the park, there's nothing that Bills Mafia cannot handle when it comes to Mother Nature. So yeah, I want somebody to get chilly and come here to the Ralph for an AFC championship game. That's where my focus is. And the one seed really helps with that. It helps, again, with the same vein of this episode, with health and keeping everybody fresh. That extra week means a lot when it comes postseason time. So who knows what the health situation will be when it comes week 18. So yeah, I want that one seed. And this is another Lego block for the Bills to kind of build on. So listen, as we wrap up tonight, I've had a great episode. I've enjoyed it, DT. Thank you again for your time, man. I mean, I can't wait to just give you, man, a big bro hug, man, to see you on Sunday morning, man. Like I said, we'll try to link up before that. But if not, worst case scenario, you'll know exactly where I'll be, right there in the grass lots, right next to you, man, Sunday morning. I can't wait, man. Can't wait.
Yep. Let's go. Let's go. I can't. It's going to be an awesome day. I can't wait to see you. And it's we're looking to be a little cold when you get out there, 7 a.m. We're gonna have to
Yeah,
layer up a little bit. Well, the
yeah,
ground will be wet, little frost out there, but 9:30, 10 o'clock,
yeah. Sun to
we'll
come
be
out.
running our routes. We'll be running our
Yeah,
routes a
yeah,
little bit
yeah.
and warm up. And
Get the
by
juices
game
flowing.
time,
Yeah,
yep, game time we should be nice, warm, ready to roll. Have some swing juice with us
yeah.
and make it happen. So
Oh man, I
looking
can't
forward
wait.
to it. I love football. I love fall. We've had a great week here in Buffalo weather-wise. A little cool, but today was a perfect representation. I think what Sunday's going to be, and looking forward to it in every aspect. To go enjoy this one of 17 event.
Yeah, it really is an opportunity. I can't wait. So, as always, these were my Bills thoughts said out loud. Please remember to spread love, not hate. Hit them with the Go Bills, DT. Go
Go
Bills. Hit them with
Bills!
it.
Go Bills! 4-1. Let's go.
Let's go.